Lesson 7.
Media and Globalization.
Media and globalization. From the word global, it means pertaining the whole world, worldwide, and universal. When you say globalization is a term used to describe how trade and technology have made the world into a more connected and interdependent place. Globalization entails the spread of various cultures. Various cultures, such as Malaysia culture, American culture, African culture, Arabian culture, United States culture, Indian culture. When a film is made in Hollywood, it's shown not only in United States, but also in other cities across the globe. South Korea rapper-sized songs Gangnam Styles would have been about wealthy, suburb, and Seoul, but its listeners included millions who have never been or may never go to Gangnam. So, Gangnam means is south of the river. Gangnam is also one of the richest and most glamorous in Seoul. Globalization also involves the spread of ideas. For example, the notion of the rights of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender or LGBT communities is spreading across the world and becoming more widely accepted. Similarly, the conservative Christian church that opposes this right moves from the place like South America to Korea and to Burundi and Africa. The LGBTs they have the basic rights and freedom that belongs to every person in the world from birth until death. People who travel the global teaching and preaching their beliefs in universities, churches, public forums, classrooms, or even a guest of family play a major role in the spread of culture and ideas. But today, television programs, social media, groups, movie, magazines, and the like have made easier from advocates to reach larger audience. Globalization relies on media as it means conduit from the spread of global culture and ideas.
Media and its function.
A world of ideas, cultures, and globalization. Person's voice in a medium. However, when commentator refers to media, they mean the technologies of mass communication. Print media include book, magazines, and newspapers. Broadcast media involved with radio, film, and television. Digital media cover the internet and mobile mass communication. And the one category of internet media, the email, internet-based video, and audio. Media is more difficult to determine what media do and how they affect societies. Media theorist Marshall McLuhan once declared that the medium is the message. He did not mean that ideas are useless and do not affect people. Rather, his statement was an attempt to draw attention to how media as a form of technology reshapes societies. Thus, television is not simple bearer of message. It also shaped the social behavior of users and reorient family behavior. Television has also drawn people away from other meaningful activities such as playing outdoor games or reading books. The technology and not the message make for this social change possible. McLuhan added that different media simultaneously extend and imputate human senses. New media may expand the reach of communication, but they also dull the user's communicative capacities. To be able to pass stories verbally from one person to another, storytellers have to have retentive memories. This development, according to some philosophers, at the same time dull the people's capacity to remember. The question of what new media enhance and what they amputate was not a moral or ethical one. According to McLuhan, new media are neither inherently good nor bad.
The global village on ductual imperialism.
The global village and the cultural imperialism. McLuhan uses analysis of technology to examine the impact of electronic medias. Since he was writing around the 1960s, he mainly analyzed the social changes brought about by television. McLuhan declared that television will the world into a global village. By this, he meant that as more and more people sat down in front of their television sets and listened to the same stories, the new member of the new global villages over the world would begin to watch, listen and read the same things. This thinking arose at a time when America's power had turned into world heavyweight.
Social media and the creation of cyber ghettos.
Social media and the creation of cyber ghettos. So first, before we tackle the topic, I would like to share the definition of social media and cyber ghetto. So social media refers to computer-based technology that facilitates the sharing of ideas, thoughts, and information through virtual networks and communities. It is an intended based and gives users quick electronic communication of content such as personal information, documents, videos, and also photos. On the other hand, cyber ghetto, according to Urban Dictionary and the Packer Prism, the term cyber ghetto was coined by a black teenager named Lewina on Tumblr. She reportedly carved out a space on the internet for marginalized groups of people. It is an aesthetic that intends to create a home on cyberspace for marginalized groups of people. The word is a compound of cyber, which means referring to the internet and cyberspace, and ghetto was generalized use as a term to describe a group of marginalized individuals. So, at this point in time, only a few media scholars argue that the world is becoming culturally homogeneous. A sense of pride in one's culture, nationality, and common background with fellow citizens. Internet and social media are proving that globalization of culture and ideas can move in different directions, transcending prerogatives. While Western culture remains powerful and media production is still controlled by powerful Western corporations. The internet, particularly social media, is challenging previous ideas about media and globalization. So, the effects of social media enabled users to be consumers and producers of information simultaneously. Examples: the democratic potential of social media was most evident in 2011 during the Arab Spring, a wave of protests, uprisings, and unrest that spread across Arabic-speaking countries in North Africa and the Middle East. The Women's March against newly installed US President Donald Trump began with a tweet from a Hawaiian lawyer, which sparked a global government. So, these movements were largely enabled by social media. Digital citizens can be easily coerced by numerous demands or petitions coming from other people of manipulative intent. Commentators began referring to the emergence of what is known as the split internet. A pun coin described the internet as it exists in each separate nation, providing its own separate version for users of its country. And cyber balkanization described the process by which the censorship and the application of filters on the internet content causes fragmentation or subdivisions within. Example is the United States. Voters of Democratic Party largely read conservative websites. This segmentation has been exacerbated by the nature of social media feeds, leading users to read articles, memes, and videos shared by like-minded friends. As such, being on Facebook can resemble living in an echo chamber, which reinforces one's existing beliefs and opinions, eventually making users more partisan and close friends. As the preceding case show, fake information can spread easily on social media since they have few content filters. News articles, even fake ones, can spread easily like a wildfire from one side to the globe to the other. The dark side of social media shows that even seemingly open and democratic media may be co-opted towards undemocratic means. Global online propaganda will be the biggest threat to face as the globalization of media deepens.
A culture of globalization, beliefs, and opinion. This echo jumper product user for listening to our reading opinions and information that challenge their viewpoints, thus making them more partisan and close-minded. This segmentation has been used by people in power who are aware that social media bubbles can produce a herd mentality. The same inexpensiveness that allows social media to be a democratic force likewise make it a cheap tool of government propaganda. Russian dictator Vladimir Putin has hired armies of social media trolls, paid users who harass political opponents to manipulate public opinion through intimidation and the spreading of fake news. Most recently, American intelligence agencies established that Putin used trolls and online misinformation to help Donald Trump with the presidency, a tactic the Russian autocrat is likely to repeat in European election he seeks to influence. In place across the world, Putin imitators replicate his strategy of online trolling and disinformation to clamp down on dissent and delegitimized critical media. As the spreading cases show, fake information can spread easily on social media since they have few content filter unlike newspaper. Facebook does not have team editors who are trained to sift through and filter information. If a news article, even a fake one, get a lot of shares, it will reach many people with Facebook account. This dark side of social media show that even a seemingly open and democratic media may be co-opted towards undemocratic means. Global online propaganda will be the biggest threat to the face as the globalization of media deepens.
Conclusion.
This is the conclusion in our report. So, this lesson showed that different media have diverse effect on globalization processes. At one point, it seemed that global television was creating a global monoculture. Now, it seems more likely that social media will splinter cultures and ideas into bubbles of people who did not interact. Societies can never be completely prepared for the rapid changes in the system of communication. Every technological change, after all, create multiple unintended consequences. So it means that the effect of social media are very complex and vary from person to person. Based on our data, we found that many people either experience negative effects or notice them in other people. Consumers and users of media will have hard time turning back the clock. Through people may individually try to keep out a Facebook or Twitter. For example, this media will continue to engender social changes. Instead of fearing these changes or entering a state of moral panic, everyone must collectively discover ways of dealing with it responsibly and ethically. In other hand, social media change our life so much. Our life become more convenient. However, we have to aware of how we use them.
Thank you for listening. God bless.